Surpassing the staggering 200 billion USD mark in 2025, the processed fruit and agricultural industry has officially entered the elite group of the world's most valuable food sectors. From vibrant jams and artisanal dried fruits to individually quick-frozen (IQF) products, this dynamic field is gradually breaking the long-standing dominance of industrial snacks and traditional confectionery in the convenience food market. But a monumental question remains. How are more than 900 million tons of fresh fruit, highly perishable produce that is inextricably tied to the whims of seasonality, processed into stable snack products that can be safely stored and consumed year-round? This is the story of an incredible journey, one that transforms fruit-producing regions across continents, areas burdened with massive outputs and extremely high risks of post-harvest loss, into a top-tier food processing industry. Here, modern farming practices and advanced processing technologies are fundamentally reshaping how humanity produces, preserves, and consumes its agricultural bounty. The journey begins with our first stop in California, the undisputed agricultural hub that accounts for up to 90% of all strawberry production in the United States. Thanks to a unique and highly favorable convergence of coastal loam soils and the cooling embrace of Pacific Ocean fog, all farming operations here run like a meticulously precision-driven system. This is especially true during the grueling peak harvest season that stretches from April to June. Harvesting in these vast fields starts well before dawn. This timing is critical to take advantage of the lowest thermal conditions of the day, allowing the cellular tissue of the strawberries to achieve maximum stability and withstand physical handling without bruising. Unlike produce destined for the fresh market, strawberries, specifically cultivated for jam processing, are harvested at precisely 80% ripeness. This exact window is chosen to capture peak levels of natural pectin, the vital gelling agent that creates the jam's signature elasticity without the need for artificial additives. Despite the massive industrial scale of these farms, hand harvesting remains a strict, mandatory standard. The reason lies in the fruit's highly sensitive skin. At just 0.1 millimeters thick, roughly equivalent to the width of a human hair, this delicate membrane is responsible for bearing the full stress of deep industrial processing. Instead of applying a direct pulling force that could easily tear the plant's tissue, skilled farmers utilize a specialized technique. They sharply pinch the stem with their fingernails, intentionally leaving an exact 1 centimeter segment of the stem intact on the berry. This calculated action establishes a vital biological barrier that effectively shields the fruit's core from invading bacteria and prevents premature internal oxidation. With yields routinely reaching 40 tons per acre, California has cemented its role as a strategic supply source for the global processing industry. To lock in this hard-won quality, a critical 60-minute golden window begins the very moment the fruit leaves the mother plant. If delayed, the strawberries will enter a state of self-respiratory breakdown, causing the irreversible loss of valuable natural sugars and complex aromas long before they ever reach the factory doors. Upon arriving at the factory from the fields, the strawberries are immediately thrust into a rigorous industrial purification process. As the first step, all berries are thoroughly washed using a recirculated cold water system. This is combined with gentle air bubbling and low-pressure water spraying to effectively remove soil and field residues without inflicting any damage on the fragile fruit tissue. Once the washing phase is complete, the strawberries are smoothly transferred to an automated stem and leaf removal system. This cutting-edge machinery uses optical positioning combined with precision cutting blades to effortlessly eliminate the green plant parts. This ensures a uniform, fully cleaned input material entirely free from plant debris. When only the intact, ruby-red flesh remains, the strawberries are fed directly into cutting and primary crushing machines. Depending on the specific product line being manufactured, the fruit mixture may retain large, intact fruit pieces to create a chunky, rustic jam, or it may be fully pureed to yield a perfectly smooth, easily spreadable texture. The subsequent step, the most critical transformation stage of all, is heating and concentration. The strawberry mixture is carefully cooked in large vacuum kettles or indirect heated vessels at a tightly controlled temperature of around 65 degrees Celsius under low pressure. This sophisticated process activates the natural pectin and removes up to 40% of the fruit's free water, all while flawlessly preserving the bright red color and sweet aroma, ultimately creating the characteristic thick texture of premium strawberry jam. Next comes the chemistry of preservation. Sugar and organic acids, primarily citric acid, are precisely added to the heated vat to balance sweetness, fortify the gel structure, and guarantee microbial safety. The mixture is continuously adjusted to reach optimal Brix, sugar content levels, and the perfect pH balance. This environment allows the natural pectin to form stable chemical bonds, resulting in a uniform, non-separating gel structure. While freshly picked strawberries maintain their quality for merely a few days, this standardization process ensures the jam can be safely preserved for up to 24 months. Simultaneously, air bubbles are meticulously removed to prevent oxidation and separation, while a slow, rhythmic stirring system guarantees a smooth, uniform structure. After approximately 30 to 45 minutes of cooking, the finished jam is carefully cooled to between 75 degrees Celsius and 80 degrees Celsius before it enters the high-speed jar filling stage. On the automated production line, pristine glass jars are fed into a volumetric filling system. The jam is pumped into the jars while still hot, utilizing precise volume control with minimal deviation to ensure absolute uniformity across millions of products. Immediately afterward, metal lids are instantly sealed onto the jars. As the hot jam gradually cools inside the glass, it creates a natural vacuum environment. This powerful combination of hot filling, vacuum sealing, and high sugar content allows the product to remain stable for 2 years without a single drop of chemical preservatives. After a final sterilization bath, the jars glide into the automated labeling line, where they are grouped into standard packs and sent out for global market distribution. Leaving the American coast, our journey takes us to the historic Aegean region of Turkey, the undisputed center of the global dried fig industry. Drawing from fig trees with lineages dating back thousands of years, Turkey commands up to 60% of the world's dried fig market, boasting export values that reach a staggering 250 million USD annually. In the Aegean region, summer temperatures frequently soar beyond 40 degrees Celsius, accompanied by continuous, dry Mediterranean winds. It is here that the Serralop fig, the leading golden variety in the global dried fig sector, achieves something remarkable. It self-concentrates directly on the branch. The water inside the fruit evaporates slowly, while rich natural sugars are locked within the tissue. This creates a stable, chewy texture and a deeply authentic flavor profile, an evolutionary advantage that artificial heat-drying facilities struggle to replicate due to the excessively rapid moisture removal associated with mechanical dehydration. However, this wondrous mechanism of natural dehydration gives rise to the industry's greatest harvesting challenge: asynchronous ripening. On the exact same branch, each individual fig reaches a different level of dryness from day to day. This biological quirk forces more than 30,000 farming households in the Aden province to remain constantly vigilant and present in their orchards throughout the entire harvest season. To collect the fruit safely, harvesters use long poles to gently tap the tree branches. Only the figs that have reached the precise, standard dryness threshold will naturally detach from their stems and fall safely onto waiting collection nets below. The fruits that are still moist remain clinging to the tree to complete their natural concentration process. This traditional tapping method not only protects the incredibly thin, easily damaged skin of the fig, but it also acts as an ingenious on-site moisture control step, significantly reducing early risks of mold and microbial growth from the very second of harvest. Building on this meticulous level of field control, the crucial drying stage is carried out based on the ancient principle of natural convection. standing in stark contrast to the cold-drying technologies utilized by American farmers for the Mission Black fig variety. The freshly gathered Turkish figs are spread evenly on raised wooden racks for 3 to 5 days. This elevation allows for a bidirectional airflow that removes moisture uniformly from the dense core all the way to the outer skin. Once the internal moisture levels fall to a strictly defined safe threshold, the highly concentrated sugar content becomes sufficient to naturally inhibit any microbial growth. This enables the figs to maintain stable, premium quality for up to 12 months without utilizing chemical preservatives. To meet rigorous export standards, the sun-dried figs are sent directly to processing facilities for intensive cleaning and standardization. The process initiates with mechanical screening on vibrating conveyor belts. Here, broken figs, foreign materials, and undersized fruits are mercilessly removed, leaving only uniform, completely intact figs to proceed. Following cleaning and further drying, the figs face the ultimate test, hand sorting by highly skilled workers. Only the absolute finest fruits earn the coveted tender and juicy label, a certification that guarantees a soft skin, a rich syrupy interior, and an ideal moisture level of around 24%, delivering a naturally concentrated, honey-like sweetness. Finally, these qualified figs are fed into vibrating hoppers and automated weighing systems before packaging, a step designed to preserve their soft, juicy structure and prevent moisture reabsorption or oxidation during global transportation. Next, we explore the world of high-bush blueberries, a crop that accounts for up to 80% of global blueberry production. These berries have become the undeniable star of the modern processing industry, thanks to a highly desirable trait: their ability to ripen uniformly, which opens the door for large-scale, mechanized harvesting. Every June, towering oxbow steel giants begin their systematic deployment across vast farms stretching from Oregon to Washington in the USA. Their distinctive arched frame design allows these massive machines to completely envelop entire rows of blueberry bushes, moving effortlessly through dense plant canopies without the need for pre-cleared pathways. At the technological heart of this system is a sophisticated dual-axis shaking unit that possesses the remarkable ability to interpret ripeness. By precisely adjusting its vibration frequencies, the machine selectively detaches only the berries that have achieved optimal sugar levels, leaving the unripe green fruit safely untouched on the branch. With an astonishing capacity of up to 400 kilograms per storage bin, this technology enables large-scale farms to operate 24/7, sustaining massive outputs of tens of tons per single day. The first step in processing, and undeniably the most critical stage in determining the ultimate quality of frozen blueberries, is the washing phase. Upon entering the processing plant, the blueberries are immediately passed through a recirculated cold water washing system. This is augmented with gentle air bubbling and a soft water flow designed to carefully remove dirt, dry leaves, and any residual debris left over from the mechanical harvest. The entire operation is engineered to minimize any physical impact on the fruit's surface, as blueberry skins are notoriously thin and highly prone to cracking under high pressure. After being bathed in purified water, all the blueberries enter the futuristic optical sorting stage. Here, advanced multispectral cameras scan every single berry in a complete 360-degree view, analyzing color, shape, and microscopic surface damage in real time. Any berries that fail to meet strict color standards or show signs of bruising or tissue cracking are instantaneously removed from the line by high-speed, targeted air jets without any mechanical contact whatsoever. Only those berries that are perfectly round, plump, and highly uniform are retained as qualified raw material, ensuring absolute consistency in quality, structure, and sensory characteristics. Once sorting is complete, the surviving blueberries are transported to the freezing heart of the plant, the individual quick freezing (IQF) system. The secret to a frozen blueberry retaining its original, plump character after thawing lies entirely in freezing speed. Instead of relying on conventional, slow freezing methods, which inevitably cause the berries to clump together and leak their precious juices, These blueberries are passed through a roaring, freezing chamber, where temperatures plummet to an abysmal minus 40 degrees Celsius. In this extreme environment, each individual berry is kept suspended in midair by powerful, turbulent streams of freezing wind. This allows the fruit to freeze almost instantly while remaining completely separate from its neighbors. This miraculous process not only locks the fruit's delicate cellular structure in place, but also permanently freezes the full content of anthocyanins, the compounds responsible for the fruit's deep purple hue and vital antioxidant vitamins, cementing the blueberry's rightful status as a global superfood. For many American children, raisins might be viewed as the most disappointing chocolate imposter found in a Halloween trick-or-treat bag. Yet, hiding behind this humble, wrinkled snack is a ferocious, billion-dollar industry operating at full throttle in California's sun-baked San Joaquin Valley. This single region produces an astounding 95% of the United States raisin output and accounts for a full 1/3 of the global supply. To meet this insatiable massive demand, the industry developed the DOV, dry on vine, method, which quickly became the most widely adopted standard in modern commercial raisin production. The grapes are planted in impossibly straight rows, with spacing and canopy heights strictly standardized to accommodate mechanized harvesting. They are supported by open trellis systems that allow the heavy grape clusters to hang freely, achieving optimal, unobstructed exposure to ambient air circulation and direct sunlight. When the grapes finally reach physiological maturity boasting a high sugar content of approximately 20 to 24, Brix farmers make a critical move. They physically cut the nutrient-supplying stem of the vine. From that exact moment onward, the hanging grape clusters no longer receive a single drop of water or nutrients from the earth. They begin to dry gradually right there on the vine, fundamentally transforming the biological ripening process into a highly controlled, natural drying process. After waiting approximately 6 to 8 weeks, an entire vineyard that was once bursting with plump, fresh grapes is miraculously transformed into rows of dried, shriveled grape clusters hanging across the trellis, perfectly uniform in both their internal moisture level and their sugar concentration. This is the moment the specialized shaking harvesters, the familiar rumbling giants of California's raisin vineyards, enter the fields to execute the final stage. These machines move at a slow, deliberate crawl along the grape rows, utilizing a system of flexible shaking rods that act directly on the trunk and canes. The force is perfectly calibrated, strong enough to detach the dried fruit, but gentle enough to avoid damaging the permanent vine structure. The dried grapes fall gracefully onto collection trays and are carried by conveyor belts into large storage bins, while dry leaves and light agricultural debris are blown away and removed directly by the machine. Once the harvest is wrapped up, all the dried grapes are rushed to the factory within just a few hours. Time at this specific stage is a highly critical factor. It determines quality, stability, the ability to halt microbial activity, and ultimately, the final commercial value of the product. Upon leaving the fields, the raisins are received at massive processing plants and swiftly fed into the production line. In the initial step, the raisins are poured onto shaking, vibrating conveyors and tumbling, destemming drums. Here, dry stems and brittle leaves are separated, while heavier field stones, clods of soil, and large foreign materials picked up during mechanical harvesting are sifted out. Next comes the most crucial and delicate stage of all, dry cleaning. The raisins are channeled through rotating drums lined with soft brushes and blasted by high-pressure air-blowing systems. This completely removes fine dust and stubborn surface contaminants without using a single drop of water, ingeniously preventing any risk of moisture reabsorption that would destroy their storage stability. Though, some specific plants may choose to wash the raisins using low-pressure spray nozzles for a very brief duration immediately after this dry cleaning. Following this, the raisins are instantly blasted with hot air or forced airflow to absolutely prevent any water uptake or microbial activation. In the penultimate step, the raisins are subjected to strict optical sorting utilizing advanced color cameras and sensors, which automatically detect and reject moldy, sunburned, overly dry, or discolored berries, ensuring a perfectly uniform sensory experience for the consumer. Finally, the approved raisins are weighed and packaged, destined either for retail snack boxes or packed into bulk containers, depending entirely on their intended use and international export market. Imagine standing beneath a towering persimmon tree in the crisp air of autumn, where vibrant, glowing orange fruits sway gently in the soft, fading sunlight. Welcome to Japan, the undisputed capital of wind-dried persimmons. Here, over 16,000 tons of dried persimmons are meticulously produced each year, utilizing a breathtaking blend of ancient traditional craftsmanship and hyper-modern technology. In this culture, wind-dried persimmons are far more than just a sweet delicacy. They are a revered cultural symbol, a highly refined winter gift cherished in households and ceremonial gatherings across the nation. A surprising visual fact regarding this fruit is the distinct white frost that heavily coats the premium dried persimmon. It is not mold, as some might fear. It is actually crystallized natural glucose that forms organically as the fruit dehydrates. This sugary bloom is the ultimate mark of quality. The whiter and thicker the frost, the sweeter, rarer, and more valuable the fruit. However, though wonderfully sweet and delightful, persimmons can become a biological, natural enemy of milk, especially when eaten on an empty stomach or by individuals with sensitive digestion. This specific combination can lead to severe indigestion and, in rare cases, even form dangerous intestinal blockages if consumed carelessly. Thus, from a beloved autumn treat to a real-life forbidden fruit, persimmons are both delicious and highly deserving of proper culinary understanding. Every October, as the very first chilly winds of the season sweep through, the persimmon orchards begin to glow with vibrant, fiery shades of orange and red, signaling the official kickoff of the harvest season. At this precise time, the fruits grow significantly larger and heavier, aggressively weighing down the twisted, brittle branches of the trees and prompting farmers to enter their most grueling and busiest period of the year. To prevent the heavy, ripe persimmons from falling and shattering prematurely, farmers meticulously set up bamboo poles or wooden supports directly beneath the canopy, tying the burdened branches with thick ropes to keep the ancient trees from snapping under the pressure of strong autumn winds. To harvest the precious fruit, farmers rely exclusively on specialized pruning shears. Regardless of whether the persimmons are growing low to the ground or high up in the canopy, even for fruits easily within arm's reach, they will still use the metal shears to carefully snip the stems. This preserves an intact stem segment and absolutely avoids inflicting any microscopic scratches on the incredibly delicate skin. For the heavy clusters hanging high up in the leafy canopy, the task demands even greater physical precision. The picker extends their pole shears up to 3 to 6 meters into the air, aligns the cutting head perfectly, and makes a clean, decisive cut. Afterwards, all the freshly harvested persimmons are gently and reverently placed into heavily padded baskets to prevent even the slightest bruising or surface damage. With towering, legacy persimmon trees that are several decades old, the harvest becomes exponentially more physically challenging. Clusters of fruit hanging 6 to 7 meters high require brave farmers to climb the trees directly or balance on tall ladders, skillfully maneuvering their long-handled shears to reach every single fruit. Every physical movement must be slow and precise, both to ensure the picker's safety and to avoid scratching the fruit, as even one minuscule bruise can fester and ruin an entire batch of wind-dried persimmons weeks later. Once safely harvested, the plump, perfectly ripe persimmons are neatly and securely arranged onto transport carts, ready to commence the next demanding stage of their journey. The first destination for the freshly picked persimmons is the wind-dried processing facility, where their miraculous transformation from rough, astringent raw fruit into chewy, sweet delicacies sought after globally truly begins. It must be noted that not all persimmons are biologically suitable for drying. Only the large, highly astringent varieties boasting firm skins and high tannin contents possess the structural integrity to endure weeks of hanging without rotting or falling apart. Because of this, the final sorting process at the facility is executed with the utmost care, vigilance, and precision. Freshly harvested persimmons are highly volatile, They are incredibly susceptible to rapid softening, spoilage, or early fermentation if they are exposed to high temperatures or excessive environmental humidity. For this exact reason, immediately after sorting, the fruits are rushed into climate-controlled cold storage rooms, maintained at a steady 1.5 degrees Celsius. This is just cold enough to lock in their freshness and drastically slow down the natural destructive ripening process. Once the facility is ready, each individual persimmon enters the peeling line, a process that might appear simple to the untrained eye, but plays a massive, crucial role in determining the final appearance and quality of the luxury product. First, any excess green leaves and small twigs surrounding the top stem are cleanly trimmed off by automated cutters, perfectly preparing the fruit for the peeling blade. Each persimmon is then firmly, securely impaled on a high-speed rotating spindle. As it spins, a set of incredibly sharp, automated blades glides gracefully around its curved surface in a fluid spiral motion, swiftly and precisely shaving away the thin, bitter outer skin without causing any damage to the tender, bright orange flesh hidden inside. Operating with a blistering processing capacity of 1,000 to 1,200 fruits per hour, this robotic system boosts farm productivity by more than 10 times compared to manual hand peeling, virtually guaranteeing aesthetic uniformity while massively reducing labor demands. Yet, no matter how remarkably fast these cold steel arms work, they still cannot entirely replace the nuanced human touch. Before the fruit is hung to dry, eagle-eyed workers carefully inspect each individual peeled fruit by hand, utilizing small blades to manually trim away any leftover rough edges or tiny slivers of skin that the machines may have missed. In this high-stakes artisanal industry, even the absolute slightest flaw can invite mold and compromise the quality of an entire hanging batch. One might wonder, why is every single part of the persimmon peeled completely bare except for the top stem? That remaining stem is far from a useless remnant. It acts as the vital physical anchor that allows the heavy fruit to be suspended in midair during the long drying process, which is exactly where the magic of its sweetness truly begins. After peeling is complete, each naked persimmon is carefully tied by its remaining stem and hung on a long drying line. Highly skilled workers utilize durable nylon or specialized organic cords, deftly threading the string through the woody stem and securing each complex knot to ensure that the fruit hangs exactly 20 to 30 centimeters above the floor, without tilting, swaying, or touching its neighbors. This strict spacing is biologically essential. It guarantees even 360-degree drying and fundamentally prevents the catastrophic growth of mold. Depending on the size and scale of the facility, each hanging line may securely hold between 10 to 20 fruits. In some artisanal regions, persimmons are hooked individually onto tiered metal racks. In other areas, they are traditionally strung in perfectly symmetrical pairs, allowing for easier human transport and greatly improved airflow during the dehydration process. Though this tying step may seem utterly simple, it demands massive consistency and unyielding precision. A single carelessly tied loose knot can cause an entire heavy string, potentially worth thousands of dollars, at retail to crash to the floor, bruising, damaging, or completely ruining the entire precious batch. The meticulous wind drying process typically lasts anywhere between 30 and 60 days, dictated heavily by the specific persimmon variety, daily humidity levels, and the unpredictable regional climate. During this long, quiet period, the fruit doesn't simply dry out like a raisin. It undergoes a profound, deep internal chemical transformation. At strictly regulated regular intervals, each hanging persimmon must be gently and rhythmically massaged by human hands. This tactile process helps physically break down the tough, fibrous internal structures, greatly accelerates the textural transition from rock-firm to delightfully chewy, and aggressively encourages the even, systemic distribution of natural liquid sugars. More than just a necessary technical step, this massage is viewed as a way for the dedicated artisans to physically communicate with each fruit, personally shaping its soft, yielding texture and coaxing out the deep, mellow sweetness that is the absolute characteristic of premium dried persimmons. Suspended in a highly sanitized, well-ventilated environment, entirely shielded from the harshness of direct sunlight, the persimmons gradually weep their moisture. As they shrink, their natural sugars heavily concentrate and eventually crystallize on the outer surface, forming that highly prized fine white powder, the absolute hallmark of a perfectly executed dried batch. As the fruit dehydrates, the harsh, bitter tannins are chemically broken down, allowing the deep sweetness to finally come forward. Through this mild, natural enzymatic fermentation process, the persimmon transforms from unedibly astringent to delicately sweet, from rigidly firm to yielding and tender, a completely miraculous metamorphosis in both flavor and texture. After being carefully unhooked and removed from the drying racks, the persimmons are laid out flat on a breathable, sanitary surface to rest. At this final stage, each fruit is gently rolled or softly pressed flat to further redistribute the natural sugars pooled inside. This final touch helps create a completely uniform, tender texture from edge to center, and further encourages the blooming formation of the fine white sugar coating on the skin. Once they reach the absolute ideal level of dryness, the persimmons are carefully, almost reverently, arranged in beautiful traditional wooden boxes or sterile modern trays, finally ready for the last stage of their long journey, packaging and high-end retail distribution. While wind-dried persimmons represent a slow, romantic transformation through air and time, semi-dried persimmons take an entirely different, highly modern path. This process is vastly faster, tightly controlled, and entirely powered by industrial heat and cutting-edge technology. After initial sorting, the persimmons destined for this path are fully peeled, but with both the stem and the hard internal core completely removed. The fruit is then passed rapidly through a specialized automated cutting machine. Here, each soft fruit is forcefully pushed through a unique star-shaped blade, a specialized slicing mold that instantaneously divides the globe into perfectly even, bite-sized geometric segments. This industrial method not only drastically shortens the required processing time, but also produces beautifully uniform, aesthetically pleasing pieces that are incredibly easy to pack and absolutely perfect for modern, ready-to-eat consumer consumption. Before drying begins, these bright orange slices are neatly and mathematically arranged on vast industrial mesh trays to absolutely maximize heat circulation and entirely prevent the sticky pieces from fusing together. Dozens of these loaded trays are then stacked and loaded into massive industrial drying chambers, where the internal temperature and humidity are precisely and electronically controlled, typically kept at a relentless 50 degrees Celsius for over 20 continuous hours. Inside these steel chambers, there is no sunlight, and there is no natural wind. Everything is strictly managed by computer algorithms to ensure that every single slice dries evenly, remains delightfully soft and chewy, and entirely retains its vibrant, appetizing orange color. It is the hyper-industrial version of traditional wind drying, exponentially faster and highly compact, yet still requiring absolute, unyielding precision at every mechanical step. After emerging from the hot drying chambers, the persimmon slices are manually sorted by humans under standardized, incredibly bright lighting to quickly identify and remove any pieces that are curled, undersized, or unevenly discolored. Only the slices that perfectly meet strict visual and textural standards are permitted to transfer onto an automatic weighing conveyor belt, which accurately portions out each retail batch. The approved slices are then swiftly packed into multi-layer, high-tech laminated pouches, which are specifically designed to entirely block out ambient moisture and UV light, allowing for long-term pantry storage without the use of chemical additives. Right before the final heat seal is applied, a small, precisely measured amount of inert nitrogen gas is injected into each pouch to entirely displace oxygen, preventing any future oxidation and perfectly preserving the fruit's freshness. The pouches are then immediately heat sealed, ensuring an absolutely airtight and totally secure closure. Shifting our focus from the sweet to the savory, we arrive back in California, widely known as the undisputed avocado capital of the United States. This golden state successfully produces a massive 90% of the country's total domestic avocado supply. helping make the U.S. one of the world's largest avocado producers. However, the American appetite for this rich fruit is so utterly voracious that domestic production still cannot meet the staggering demand, forcing the U.S. to import massive, continuous amounts of avocados from neighboring countries, most notably from the fertile regions of Mexico. Typically, an avocado tree requires a patient 6 to 7 months to fully bloom and bear harvestable fruit. By the peak of summer, when the lush orchards are heavy and drooping with ripe avocados, dedicated farmers work tirelessly under the sun. They are constantly checking ripeness levels, preparing deep harvest baskets, and carefully, meticulously hand-picking each individual avocado to absolutely ensure the best possible quality. The United States is globally renowned for possessing one of the most advanced, highly mechanized agricultural industries in the world, where high-speed harvesting machines and cutting-edge AI technology regularly help boost crop productivity to astronomical levels. However, when it comes to the delicate avocado, absolutely no machine has yet been invented that can replace the gentle, intuitive hands of a skilled human farmer. To guarantee the highest possible quality for the consumer market, farmers still completely rely on traditional, manual hand harvesting methods, paying intense, unwavering attention to every little physical detail. They are trained to only pick perfectly ripe avocados fruits that are not too soft, yet not too firm, boasting completely smooth, unblemished outer skins. To execute this, workers wield long poles equipped with specialized, sharp cutting blades, allowing them to safely reach the heavy avocados dangling high up on the uppermost branches. Meanwhile, sturdy, tall ladders provide crucial support for picking fruit nestled in the harder-to-reach, dense interior areas of the canopy. The moment an avocado is snipped from the tree branch, it is carefully, gently placed into a specialized padded basket worn securely on the harvester's chest. This specific setup prevents any accidental drops or harsh impacts that could easily bruise the fruit's incredibly delicate skin. Afterwards, the gathered avocados are neatly and systematically arranged in large plastic crates, waiting in the shade under the trees, ready to embark on the next critical stage of their commercial journey. A highly skilled, experienced farmer can manually harvest up to 1,000 pounds of avocados per hour, compared to roaring industrial machines that can carelessly process dozens of tons of other fruits in that same exact time frame. This number may seem remarkably modest, but the unmatched precision and gentle care provided by human hands are something cold technology has yet to fully replicate or replace. This dedicated hand harvesting not only completely preserves the physical quality of the avocados by totally preventing bruising and deep scratches, but it also fundamentally helps retain their freshest, richest natural flavor. Out in these sun-drenched orchards, it is viewed as more than just a demanding physical task. It is respected as an agricultural art form, one perfectly reflecting the deep dedication and profound respect that American farmers hold for their valuable crops. So, what exactly happens to these pristine avocados after they leave the quiet orchard? The answer involves a massive, highly synchronized industrial ballet. Before ever reaching consumers, the avocados must go through an incredibly strict, multi-stage processing system at a state-of-the-art packing facility to ensure only the highest quality product makes it to the supermarket. Once the heavy trucks arrive from the fields, the crates of avocados are immediately placed into vast, chilling cold storage rooms, where the ambient temperatures are strictly maintained between a crisp 40 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. This crucial chilling process effectively hits the biological pause button, drastically slowing down the natural ripening process and keeping the fruit in its absolute optimal physical condition before moving on to the rigorous processing steps ahead. When it is their turn, the chilled avocados are first carefully transported onto an automated, soft-rolling conveyor system, which smoothly guides them into the massive washing area where the intensive cleaning process officially begins. Here, arrays of high-pressure spray nozzles operate with pinpoint mechanical precision, releasing powerful, targeted streams of crystal-clean water directly onto the bumpy surface of each passing avocado. Layers of field dirt, agricultural impurities, or any stubborn organic debris clinging to the avocado skins are thoroughly and mercilessly removed, thanks entirely to the sheer force and calculated accuracy of the high-tech spray system. This thorough process not only ensures the avocados are visually perfectly clean, but it also strictly guarantees that they meet the highest global hygiene standards before they are allowed to proceed to the next stages of food processing. Next, they are submerged and pass through a large, circulating water tank containing a specialized, food-safe antibacterial solution, which actively helps eliminate any lingering microscopic bacteria and effectively extends the fruit's retail shelf life. After emerging clean from the washing tanks, the wet avocados journey directly into the automated drying system. Here, thousands of soft, rapidly rotating brushes embrace the fruits, much like a gentle, sweeping breeze moving over rolling green hills. The avocados tumble gracefully along the line, shedding every last heavy drop of moisture, as if simply shaking off a light, refreshing morning dew. This highly delicate drying process ensures that each avocado emerges completely pristine and physically unscathed, its dark skin totally smooth and flawless, perfectly ready for the next technological stage of its adventure. Next, the fast-moving avocados pass directly through a blinding high-speed optical sorting machine. In this futuristic tunnel, state-of-the-art laser sensors and high-definition cameras scan every single fruit in a mere fraction of a second. The computers instantly analyze the exact color, circumference size, internal ripeness, and even detect the absolute tiniest surface defects or hidden bruises. This incredible system operates with remarkable, flawless precision, easily processing thousands of individual avocados per hour to ensure absolute consistency in retail quality. By strictly maintaining these high-quality standards, this automated sorting process guarantees that only the finest, unblemished avocados are allowed to continue down the production line, massively optimizing factory efficiency while simultaneously minimizing unnecessary food waste. After successfully passing the rigorous quality check, the elite avocados move steadily along the conveyor belt to the automatic, high-speed labeling machine. Here, a tiny sticker is applied. Each individual label is custom printed in real time, with crucial tracking information regarding the farm origin, specific fruit type, and exact batch number, then gently but firmly applied directly to the skin of the fruit. Finally, the labeled avocados drop softly onto a lower, segmented conveyor belt, where they are automatically sorted according to their exact size and weight before moving on to the final packaging stage of processing. In the packing bay, workers carefully pick up each individual avocado by hand, placing them neatly and uniformly into heavily padded shipping trays before packing them tightly into sturdy cardboard cartons. Additionally, depending on the retail destination, avocados can also be carefully packaged in durable, breathable mesh bags. These bags are highly favored by supermarkets as they allow for proper, continuous air ventilation and actively help maintain the freshness and firmness of the fruit during long-haul transportation and grocery storage. In the absolute most advanced, cutting-edge factories, automated, multi-axis robotic arms completely take over this repetitive packing task. These towering robots are equipped with highly sensitive, high-precision pressure sensors in their grippers, allowing them to delicately pick up each avocado and place it perfectly into the deep cartons without applying too much force or damaging the delicate skin. A single, tireless robot can package an astonishing 1,200 cartons per hour, significantly boosting the facility's overall production efficiency. Once packaged securely, the heavy cartons of avocados are stacked high onto wooden pallets, wrapped tightly, and moved back into cavernous cold storage rooms, where they are strictly kept at a chilling temperature of 39 to 42 degrees Fahrenheit. This highly controlled environment helps flawlessly maintain their peak freshness and quality right up until they are loaded onto refrigerated trucks and transported to eager consumers. In the U.S. market, while a massive 65% of all avocados are purchased and consumed completely fresh, the remaining 35% are diverted and processed into highly lucrative secondary products, such as premium avocado oil and, most notably and famously, guacamole. This creamy, incredibly rich dip is made from heavily mashed avocados, blended perfectly with a selection of fresh spices to create a refreshing, highly flavorful taste that dominates party platters. For the avocados destined for processing, once they are cleaned, they continue along a separate conveyor belt straight to the peeling and deep pitting station. Here, highly skilled workers wielding sharp knives at lightning speed carefully slice the avocados perfectly in half, swiftly pop and remove the large wooden pits, and seamlessly scoop out the bright green flesh with absolute precision. This manual dexterity ensures the soft, creamy interior remains entirely intact without any cellular damage. The collected avocado flesh is then transferred via stainless steel pipes directly into a massive commercial grinding system, where razor-sharp, spinning blades blend it down to a perfectly smooth, luxurious consistency. At the exact same time, a vibrant mixture of fresh lime juice, pure salt, minced garlic, diced onions, chopped cilantro, and spicy green chilies are precisely added into the vat utilizing an automated, computer-controlled dosing system. This ensures a perfectly well-balanced and totally consistent flavor profile in every single massive batch of guacamole produced. Once thoroughly mixed, the vat of guacamole undergoes a strict, final quality check, where its exact texture, vibrant color, and spicy taste are meticulously inspected by experts before it is allowed to enter the packaging line. The thick green mixture is then heavily pumped into rigid plastic containers or vacuum-sealed soft bags using an automated, high-speed filling system. This system operates with a mind-boggling accuracy of just 1 single gram, strictly ensuring each and every retail product possesses the exact, legally required correct weight. But the process is not over. The sealed guacamole is then placed directly into the HPP system. This is a revolutionary technology that uses extremely high, crushing hydrostatic pressure to utterly eliminate any harmful bacteria without ever requiring the use of high, flavor-destroying temperatures or artificial chemical preservatives. This cold pressure process flawlessly helps maintain the bright, fresh flavor and high nutritional quality of the product, while granting it a significantly longer, safer shelf life. Finally, the packaged, pressurized guacamole is carefully stacked onto pallets and stored safely in cold storage, ready for widespread distribution to major supermarkets, chain restaurants, and hungry consumers worldwide. Beyond just its famous, creamy, flavorful dip, avocados are also heavily processed into high-value, incredibly nutrient-rich avocado oil. For this process, after being thoroughly cleaned, peeled, and pitted, the green avocado flesh is finely and thoroughly mashed into a paste before entering a massive, industrial, cold-pressing system. This machine utilizes immense mechanical force to squeeze and extract the pure, liquid avocado oil while perfectly preserving its highly sensitive natural nutrients. The extracted raw oil then goes through a rigorous, multi-stage filtration and refinement process, utilizing advanced centrifugation technology to strip out any remaining solid impurities, ultimately ensuring the absolute highest level of culinary purity. The final, bottled product boasts a beautiful light yellow or slightly greenish color and is immensely rich in healthy, monounsaturated fats and essential vitamins, making it highly prized for both culinary health and cosmetic beauty applications. In addition to oil and dips, frozen avocado has become highly popular globally because it provides an incredibly effective way to preserve the volatile fruit while perfectly maintaining its rich flavor, vibrant color, and high nutritional value over long periods. For this product, the fresh avocado flesh is simply cut into uniform pieces and then quickly, aggressively frozen at an extreme -40 degrees Celsius, or even lower, to instantly halt any enzymatic oxidation. Thanks to this ultra-rapid freezing technology, the frozen avocado chunks can be safely stored in freezers for up to 12 entire months without ever requiring the need for chemical preservatives. This highly convenient product is now widely used by cafes and consumers alike in daily smoothies, fresh guacamole preparations, rich avocado sauces, and many other culinary dishes. But how does this massive avocado empire sustain itself? Did you know that every single towering avocado tree actually starts its life from a tiny, hard seed? However, to absolutely ensure a high commercial yield and consistent fruit quality. Farmers do not simply plant seeds in the ground. They typically germinate the seed in a highly controlled nursery for 4 to 6 weeks. Afterward, the young sapling is meticulously grafted with specific, highly productive branches, taken from known, high-quality avocado varieties. This vital grafting process ensures the resulting tree will produce larger, far tastier, and much more genetically stable fruit than a tree grown purely from a random seed. After 6 to 12 months of careful nursery growth, the young, grafted avocado trees are finally transferred out into the open orchards. They are planted into well-drained, loose, fertile soil, with each individual tree strictly spaced 13 to 20 feet apart to allow for proper, unhindered root and canopy growth. Once planted, automated, highly efficient drip irrigation systems are installed to supply the exact necessary amount of water directly to the roots, preventing dangerous overwatering and deadly root rot. After 3 to 4 patient years of growth, the mature trees finally begin to flower and bear their valuable fruit. But to maintain the high quality of the yield, farmers must ruthlessly prune the tree branches annually, an labor-intensive process that ensures better airflow through the canopy and significantly reduces the risk of pests and fungal diseases. Leaving the sunny avocado orchards, we travel to the cooler climates of Washington state. Here, where the massive apple harvest season runs relentlessly from August all the way to November, the most incredibly critical part of the entire harvest isn't actually the physical picking of the fruit itself. Rather, it is the logistical nightmare of moving massive, 400-kilogram bins of apples out of the dense orchard as physically quickly and cleanly as humanly possible. To solve this, the highly innovative continuous bin handling system has rapidly become the new, golden standard in high-density, modern apple orchards. The mechanical logic behind this system is elegantly simple, but remarkably, undeniably effective. It utilizes 2 independent, stacked rail levels running directly along the soil of each tree row. When a massive bin is fully loaded with fresh apples and reaches the designated transfer point, the upper rail level seamlessly moves it out of the tight row through a designated, pre-planned exit. At the exact same synchronized time, the lower rail level forcefully pushes an entirely empty bin right into the exact spot that just opened up. This whole, heavy exchange takes only a few fleeting seconds. There are no loud, clumsy forklifts involved, absolutely no waiting around, and no picker is ever forced to pause mid-task to wait for a new bin. This brilliant configuration completely solves a massive industry-wide bottleneck in modern apple production. The incredibly tight row spacing, which is often just 3 meters wide, combined with large, continuous acreage that stretches uninterrupted for hundreds of hectares. Furthermore, minimizing the amount of heavy machine movement and rough bin handling significantly reduces the physical impact on the delicate fruit, heavily helping to maintain the deep crispness and structural firmness that are so easily lost when heavy apple bins are violently jolted around by tractors over rough terrain. Overall, this rail system doesn't just speed up the farm's transport times, it actively, tangibly improves the ultimate fruit quality. It is a seemingly small mechanical insight, but one that entirely reshapes the entire physical rhythm of the massive autumn harvest. After finally leaving the tight tree rows, the completely full, heavy bins are carefully loaded onto specialized, flatbed transport trucks and rushed directly to a collection and pre-processing facility, ideally located just about 3 to 5 kilometers away from the orchard. This incredibly short geographical distance is highly intentional by design. It drastically minimizes the total time the highly perishable apples spend outside of tightly controlled, refrigerated conditions, heavily reducing the risk of internal bruising and perfectly preserving the fruit's cellular firmness right before they enter the massive sorting line. At the processing facility, each individual bin is quickly, aggressively cooled down, thoroughly washed, and strictly quality checked before moving permanently on to deep cold storage or the active packing plant. Keeping this very initial, critical transport segment as short as possible is a major, key factor in preserving the fruit's overall world-class quality. The incredible scale of agricultural transport and processing extends far beyond just tree fruits. In Queensland, home to some of the absolute largest continuous waving sugarcane fields in the entire world, massive cane trains run relentlessly, day and night. From the start of June, right up until the end of the year, this sprawling, dedicated rail network stretches for more than 4,000 kilometers, permanently linking hundreds of independent, sprawling farms directly to more than a dozen massive, coastal sugar processing mills. What is truly interesting about this setup is that, despite the staggering length of these heavy trains, the actual locomotives pulling them are surprisingly small and lightweight. They are specially, uniquely designed to run safely on extremely narrow tracks that are less than 2 feet wide. Yet, each individual train can haul up to an astonishing 800 tons of raw sugarcane, moving steadily and rhythmically through the green fields to systematically collect the entire massive harvest of the coastal region. This specialized rail system massively saves on diesel fuel, totally reduces local highway road congestion, and firmly forms the industrial backbone of Australia's lucrative sugar industry, making it one of the very few places left in the modern world where dedicated agricultural railways still successfully operate at such a massive, impressive scale. For the local people of Queensland, the distant, echoing sound of a cane train's whistle signals not just the arrival of a busy harvest season, but the beating rhythm of an entire regional economy in constant motion. Meanwhile, inside the highly controlled environments of vast greenhouse farms, growing delicate crops like plump tomatoes, strawberries, or crisp cucumbers, the grueling job of moving the harvested produce from the tight crop rows directly to the main processing area is handled seamlessly by specialized, compact electric tow tractors. They are incredibly small, highly agile, and perfectly able to operate smoothly in narrow aisles that are often less than 1 meter wide claustrophobic spaces where any traditional, larger farm vehicle would be completely and utterly useless. While many traditional farms still heavily use these electric tow tractors with human drivers manually pulling long, heavy trains of full harvest crates, in the most highly advanced, futuristic greenhouses, you will now see fully autonomous robotic units. These driverless machines flawlessly follow embedded magnetic floor sensors or utilize advanced camera guidance systems, seamlessly and continuously transporting fresh produce directly to the packing area, completely automatically. What genuinely surprises most people is that a single autonomous tractor like this costs anywhere between $8,000 and $20,000, depending heavily on its exact level of AI automation. It is an undeniably expensive initial investment, but it successfully cuts out nearly 70% of all strenuous manual human lifting and carrying. Furthermore, it drastically shortens the internal transport time, a highly critical factor in keeping incredibly delicate, water-heavy crops, like strawberries or tomatoes, physically fresh, structurally firm, and completely full of their natural flavor. Down in the tropical heat of Ecuador, the country where more than 30% of the entire world's exported bananas originate, sprawling plantations must handle massive, staggering daily volumes of fruit across incredibly challenging, muddy terrain to keep the green produce moving smoothly between plots that can easily be over a kilometer apart. To solve this logistical nightmare, the growers rely heavily on a brilliant system few outsiders would ever expect: sprawling, overhead aerial cableways designed entirely and specifically just for bananas. These miles of metal lines are securely built on sturdy steel towers, standing about 3 to 4 meters tall, running straight and true through the dense, leafy fields without ever needing a single paved road built underneath them. The massive, heavy banana bunches are carefully hooked onto specialized metal trolleys fitted with high-quality, low-friction bearings, allowing the massive weights to glide smoothly along the suspended cable with remarkable, fluid stability. This brilliant setup almost completely minimizes any physical vibration, a highly critical factor in strictly maintaining the pristine, unbruised quality of the banana peel right before the fruit enters the rigorous grading and washing line. On the sections of the farm with a natural elevation drop, the ingenious system simply uses pure gravity to move the heavy load downhill. On the longer, flatter stretches, small, low-power electric motors kick in to provide a gentle, continuous assistance to keep the transport pace steady with almost absolutely no noticeable energy cost. As a direct result, a single, well-maintained cable line can easily transport thousands of bananas continuously for hours upon hours without a single mechanical interruption. It is a beautifully simple piece of agricultural engineering, yet one that entirely sustains the massive, continuous flow of production across these vast, steamy tropical plantations. Back in the US, seen from a distance, the vast cotton fields look almost exactly as if someone had whimsically scattered giant, pristine white marshmallows across the flat landscape. In reality, these massive shapes are the highly efficient work of next-generation, high-tech cotton harvesters. These roaring machines drive through the fields to pick, clean, and massively compress the fluffy cotton directly into dense, cylindrical modules that are more than 2 meters long, wrapping them tightly and securely in highly durable, UV-resistant plastic film. They may look soft and fluffy from afar, but each one of these dense marshmallows actually weighs up to a staggering 2 tons. Once the massive machine drops a finished module onto the dirt ground, a frantic transport race immediately begins. Specialized tractors equipped with massive, curved hydraulic lifting arms speed into the fields to safely scoop up each heavy cotton roll, raising it completely effortlessly. The steel arms perfectly match the module's rounded, cylindrical shape, ensuring that even when the heavy tractor is violently bouncing and driving over soft, uneven soil, the cotton module absolutely keeps its perfect, tight compression. This is crucially important, because even a small structural deformation in the roll can cause massive, expensive mechanical problems later down the line on the factory ginning line. The heavy modules are then carefully loaded onto specialized, long flatbed trailers, where the skilled operator lines them up perfectly in long, neat rows. A single, heavy transport run can easily carry 8 to 10 of these massive 2-ton rolls. Their final destination is a massive staging yard located a few kilometers away from the actual field. There, hundreds of these modules sit quietly and perfectly straight, endless rows waiting patiently to enter the processing gin. The bright, highly visible yellow wrap fully protects the valuable cotton from sudden rain, blowing dust, and the harsh, baking sun, completely keeping the millions of fibers inside totally clean, dry, and structurally intact. When harvest season finally arrives in Asia, the sprawling, flooded rice paddies instantly come alive with frantic, highly coordinated activity. The freshly cut, golden rice is immediately loaded onto waiting heavy trucks or small river barges and transported straight to the massive, roaring milling facilities. Here, the tough outer husk is violently removed, the internal grains are thoroughly and meticulously cleaned, and the final, beautiful white rice is successfully produced. From there, the rice is bagged, strictly inspected, and moved quickly to the massive coastal ports for the very next, and by far the biggest, stage of its global journey. It is only at the bustling port that the true staggering scale of the global rice export industry is finally fully revealed. Massive, ocean-going cargo ships, specialized bulk carriers dock at the concrete piers. These leviathans can hold up to an unbelievable 60,000 tons of rice in a single voyage. That equates to nearly 3 million individual bags, more than enough sustenance to feed a massive, sprawling city for several continuous months. When the massive ship docks, towering steel cranes swing into action, easily lifting giant bundles weighing several tons at a time, and carefully lowering them deep into the ship's cavernous, dark cargo holds, which are literally as wide and deep as massive indoor sports arenas. Down on the ground and inside the ship, dedicated teams of workers operate completely non-stop, carefully arranging the stacks, physically securing the heavy loads, and constantly monitoring the ambient moisture levels in the air to absolutely ensure that every single bag stays completely safe and dry throughout the long, treacherous voyage across the churning ocean. From the quiet, muddy paddies to the rough open sea, this entire, massive logistical journey shows one thing very clearly. Rice is not just a simple food. It is a powerful, vital economic ambassador, carefully and respectfully handled at absolutely every single step before it finally leaves the continent of Asia to feed the rest of the world. Finally, proving that modern agriculture is no longer just confined to the dirt ground, the industry has truly and impressively taken to the skies for the transport of highly delicate fresh flowers, especially romantic roses, bright tulips, and other fragile varieties, possessing a brief shelf life, measured strictly in mere days. Rapid air freight is genuinely the only financially profitable way to safely move them across massive continents. Each and every year, more than 1 billion individual flower stems are flown directly into the United States. This staggering demand absolutely peaks right around Valentine's Day, creating a logistical frenzy when millions of red roses from the high Andes Mountains and vibrant tulips from Kenya, Ethiopia, or the Netherlands all simultaneously head for the exact same American destinations. Right after the precise moment of harvest, the delicate flowers are immediately pre-chilled, carefully sorted, and packed tightly into highly specialized, ventilated cardboard boxes. These boxes are engineered to perfectly preserve the flower's internal moisture, while simultaneously allowing the fragile blooms to breathe naturally during their high-altitude transit. At the busy airport tarmac, the ground crew literally races against the ticking clock. They rapidly wrap each massive pallet in specialized, highly durable polyester netting that is more than strong enough to safely secure around 300 heavy flower boxes per individual load. Then, they forcefully push these massive pallets into the cavernous, refrigerated cargo holds of massive freighter aircraft. Throughout the entire turbulent airborne journey, tens of tons of delicate flowers are kept perfectly cold by a tightly controlled, high-tech climate system and thousands of embedded temperature sensors. Thanks entirely to this high-tech stability, even though flying these flowers via air freight costs a staggering 5 to 6 times more than shipping them via traditional sea freight, the financial loss rate from ugly wilting, physical bruising, or devastating stem rot is dramatically, completely lower. Because of these incredibly high-speed, non-stop flights, within just 48 short hours of leaving their distant, quiet greenhouse, vibrant red roses and colorful, delicate tulips miraculously appear completely fresh on store shelves across the entire United States, perfectly ready to become cherished Valentine's Day gifts for millions of happy people.